All right, it looks like everyone is settled. There will be admin going ahead and admitting people in the waiting room if more people come. But I just wanted to first introduce our webinar tonight. It is called It Is Not Too Late. So we're going to be talking about all the opportunities that we still have. And we have some special speakers here as well. I am joined by Desire, who is a Carolina Advising Corps advisor, and I myself also represent the Carolina Advising Corps. We are advisors at High Point Central, and also Desire is at Dudley in Greensboro. So we can just take a look at the agenda real quick. Fantastic, thanks Desire. So we're just going to go briefly through introductions since we have so many special speakers today. I'm going to go over the FAFSA community colleges, how to apply, and then Desire is going to take it over from there to go over more specific North Carolina deadlines and other scholarship opportunities to be aware of. So again, my name is Jessie Lutz. I am the college advisor at High Point Central. I'm a first year there, and I'm going to pass it over to Desire to introduce herself.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Desire Spurgeon, or Miss Spurgeon as my students call me. As Jessie mentioned before, I serve at James B. Dudley High School over in Greensboro. So if your school is in Guilford County but not in Greensboro, we're not too far away from you. We are your neighbors. This is my second year serving at James B. Dudley High School. A little bit different this year since we have been completely remote, but still all fun, still the same love for my kids there. And I'm happy to be here with you all tonight to share some of the good information that I get to share with my students over at my school about college, deadlines, and all of that good stuff. And for those of you who may be procrastinators, just know that it's not too late if you're starting completely from scratch at this point. So we'll be covering all of that with you all tonight. And we wanted to just introduce some of our other partners as well, who help us to get this thing going. If this is your first session, we've had plenty of other sessions that have started since October, where we've had a bunch of community partners come on with us and talk about the good things they're doing at their colleges or to help their students get to college. So like Jessie was saying, we are the Carolina College Advising Corps. She and I are representing that, as well as our co-advisor Frank, who's on the call. He serves over at Ben L. Smith, and then, well, Mr. Adams, sorry. And then Miss Alexis, who is over at Andrews High School, is also representing the College Advising Corps. We also have other partners such as Say Yes, who are on the call, and I'll let them introduce themselves if anybody wants to speak.
Hi, thank you all for tuning in again tonight. We hope that you gain a lot of information, even if you feel like it's too late in your college app process or you're a little behind, it's okay. So again, I serve as the Assistant Director of Student Outreach and Post-Secondary Access. My name is Brandy Kennedy. And so if you haven't already, it's also not too late to do your Say Yes Guilford application. So visit sayyesguilford.org and complete your application before June 1st. So thank you.
All right, thank you so much for that, Brandy. We also have our partner here tonight who will also be speaking from Guilford College. I will let Mr. Kyle introduce himself.
Hey y'all, my name is Kyle Wooden. I'm the Director of Admission at Guilford College, just down the road off Friendly Avenue in Greensboro. Sticking with the theme tonight, it is not too late to apply to Guilford College as well, and look forward to speaking with you all a little bit later.
Thank you, Kyle. We also have our partners with Guilford County Schools with us. They've been with us this whole way. We definitely could not do this without them since we serve in Guilford County Schools. But Dr. Wilson, and I am not sure if he is on tonight, but if you've again been to any of our other meetings, you've seen his face several times. And then our partner with CFNC is Miss Tequila Hall, and I know she's on the call tonight.
I just want to say good evening to everyone. I'm so glad you can join. Of course, I'm with College Foundation of North Carolina. I am your regional representative, and make sure that you continue to look at CFNC for all the wonderful spring events that we have coming up soon. Thank you for joining.
Thank you. All right, y'all. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this presentation. Jessie?
All right, Desire, I'll take it from here. So if you could go to the next slide, please. We're going to start off with the FAFSA. So it is not too late for the FAFSA. And I just want to say that this is necessary to receive financial aid and also to qualify for many scholarships, including the Say Yes Scholarship. The priority deadline is coming up soon. So what you're going to need your parent or guardian's 2019 taxes. You're going to need some social security numbers, your birth dates, and you're going to be able to fill out the FAFSA. It takes about 45 minutes if you have all the documents. If you don't have the documents, you're going to have to go on a scavenger hunt, and it might take a little bit longer, but more or less you can get it done in one sitting. And you need to submit by March 1. Submitting earlier increases your chances of getting as much money as possible. In North Carolina, the FAFSA is one bucket and it's first come, first served. So the sooner you get it done, the more opportunity you will have to get money and aid. And some schools in North Carolina, just to note, also require additional financial aid in addition to the FAFSA. This is known as the CSS profile. This is through the College Board, and I have it listed here, the colleges. There are only a few here in North Carolina, but it includes Chapel Hill, Davidson, Duke, Wake Forest University, and Elon University. There are 6 in North Carolina. And so you need to also make sure that you're getting in your CSS profile by the 1st of March as well, to make sure that you have both the CSS profile and the FAFSA into those institutions at that time. So Desire, would you mind going to the next slide? Fantastic. So again, March 1 is the deadline for the FAFSA. It's the priority deadline. It is important that you get it done as soon as possible. Today is Thursday, so try to get it done tonight, tomorrow, Monday, as soon as you can. You can submit it after March 1, but again, the sooner the better to get the most aid as you can. All right, Desire, would you mind shifting to the next slide? All right, so now we're going to transition into community college. And this is a very smart choice for a lot of students, especially now in a pandemic where we're not really sure who's going to class, who's not. And it's a good way to ease into school. So Desire, if you wouldn't mind skipping to the next slide, thank you so much. GTCC has rolling admissions. So again, the theme of this presentation is it's not too late. It is not too late to apply to GTCC, which is fantastic. What you'll need to do is access your CFNC.org account. You're going to need to complete your residency for North Carolina, and the residency is connected to CFNC.org, and that just verifies that you have been living in North Carolina for the past year and that you are a resident so that you can pay North Carolina in-state tuition. So this is very important for you to do. It also doesn't take that long to complete. You can do it in one sitting, and that is mandatory for any school in North Carolina to receive in-state tuition. And you're also going to submit your free application to GTEC on CFNC.org. So it is one hub for your RDS to apply to college and also to submit your transcripts once you finish. All right, next slide, please. Thank you so much. All right, so CFNC, just a little bit of a reminder, you're going to need to create an account on CFNC.org. And again, you're going to use this account to complete the RDS, apply directly to GTEC and other community colleges all across North Carolina. There are a ton of resources on there about scholarships. There's a whole scholarship search. It's really a fantastic website, and it was updated this year, so it looks really nice, and it's easy to use and navigate. So I highly recommend that if you are applying to college, that you go ahead and create this account. And if we have juniors or junior families on right now, you can go ahead and create an CFNC account for your student already starting now. And this will be great to log into in the fall. You'll already have the account and you'll be ready to go to do all these senior things ahead of the schedule.
And I also wanted just to note there, if you, because I know just speaking for my school specifically, I know we usually have our students all make one as a class 9th grade year, because CTE also uses these to give them exams. So if you're not sure that you have an account, or maybe, 9th grade is a long time ago, if you're an 11th grader, 12th grader, you may not remember that you even made one way back when, but you can ask your counselor, because we do have, or your college advisor, we do have access to see all of the students connected to our schools. So we'll know if you made that account or not. So a lot of times, I'll give you an example. What happens is my students don't remember they made an account. They'll make like 2 or 3 accounts. And this can become troublesome when doing your residency or applying, because now you have all these different accounts and they have to figure out which one is the primary one that's your RDS should be connected to. So I would say, if you're not sure if you made an account, just ask your counselor first. It's really easy for them to just pull up their Pro Center and find your account and give you that information, rather than making all these other accounts and then having trouble with your residency later on.
Right, that's a good call. Thank you so much, Desire, for mentioning that. So yes, as Desire said, before making a new account, double check that you don't already have one. If for some reason you're locked out of your account, which has happened to my students, don't worry, you can always make another one and update your information. So it's pretty low stakes. If you forget anything, it's not a big deal. But it is good to double check before to make sure you're not doing double the work. So next slide, please. All right, so here is just another recap of the residency determination services. Again, it is through CFNC. The link is below. And this, again, qualifies you for in-state tuition, and it is mandatory for you to get in-state tuition for North Carolina colleges. And again, if we have juniors on here, I believe the RDS opens August 1. So it's not too late for seniors to do this now. And on August 1st, it is not too early for juniors to get going on this process as well. Again, it's connected through CFNC, and it just verifies that you are a resident of North Carolina. And thank you so much to Say Yes for posting all the links below. I really appreciate it. Okay, so again, on CFNC, they have a whole application hub, and this is how you're going to apply to GTCC or any other community college in North Carolina. You're going to click that bright orange application hub button, and it will take you to the colleges. This is just a screenshot, but if you actually go to cfnc.org, you'll be able to interact. And also, if you get stuck or confused, you can talk to your counselors, they can help. And you can also look up CFNC's YouTube channel, and maybe someone can drop a link. And on their YouTube channel, they have a bunch of videos on how to do everything from applying, paying for college, sending transcripts, etc. It's a wonderful resource if you're more of a video watcher, to pause it, go step by step, and get help that way. All right, and so it's not too late how to apply. There are 3 ways to apply to GTech. I feel that the best way is on cfnc.org. Sending your transcript through cfnc.org is seamless. It's connected to your residency. And so this is the smoothest way to do it. And then Common App and the school website. The Common App is going to be your application for 4-year institutions. So if you're applying to GTech or other community colleges, you will want to stick to cfnc.org. If you are applying to a 4-year college, you will probably most likely want to apply via the Common App, where you'll write a 650-word essay and then send those out to all of your schools. The school website is a 3rd option, and sometimes students will go there, but it can be a little bit clunky. So if the school is on the Common App, I recommend doing that instead. And the Common App is great because you can add recommenders right on there, and you can also add your counselors, and they can help you get fee waivers, send in transcripts, send in extra reports, etc. So it's an all-in-one system. And if you are juniors, you can go ahead and create a Common App account. Again, the Common App also opens for the new school session, for the new school application round on August 1. And I believe the essays are going to be the same this year as they were last year. So these are just some steps. You're going to gather materials, create an account. At colleges, you're going to reach out to recommenders like teachers, coaches, etc. Understand the requirements. They are different for each school. And again, you're going to write that bread and butter Common App essay, 650 words. There are 7 prompts to choose from. They're pretty generic. And again, this is a chance to show yourself outside of just your GPA, grades, test scores. And then you're going to review and submit. And all this information can be found on the Common App website. And again, they also have, I believe they have a YouTube channel, and they also have a first year guide, which is super helpful for you to go step by step. And just a brief overview of the Common App. You're also going to need your residency number from CFNC. So it's still a good idea if you're applying to a 4-year that you still make the CFNC account. Transcripts, list of activities, test scores, maybe parent guardian information, academic honors and achievements. And then you're most likely going to have to send in recommendation letters too. And those can vary from counselors to teachers to advisors or counselors. It really depends on the school. And sometimes it's optional and sometimes it's required. And then just some more Common App tips. If you've qualified for free or reduced lunch, definitely reach out to your school counselors for Common App waivers. You should not have to pay to submit applications if you have free or reduced lunch. And just a note for seniors, I'm not sure if it's going to be the same for juniors or not next year, but in this round, there is an optional section in the additional information where students can write about the pandemic, if their family has lost a salary, if they've experienced something traumatic, a tragic loss of a loved one, or they just had a really hard time with mental health during this time. This is a good space to explain their hardships here. And this is unique to this year. I'm not sure if it's going to show up again next year, but this is a chance for seniors to express their situations because our situations from 2019 look a lot different than now. Another tip, don't go over the word limit. It will cut you off mid-sentence. Be authentic. Don't just list your activity section in your essay. Write about what makes you, you. And also start now. Again, to these juniors, this process does take time. Seniors, don't fret. You can definitely do it. It's not too late again, but you can't just whip an excellent, perfect essay out in 10 minutes and think it's good to go. It takes editing, thinking, reflecting on your life and who you are to make it work. So juniors, you can start now. Take a look at the prompts on commonapp.org. See which one resonates with you, and go ahead and start making drafts of this and send it to your English teachers to read. Have your parent look over it, a friend that you trust, your counselor, college advisors are also happy to take a look. And you can just start now. So I recommend that you get started as soon as you can on this. All right, so now I am finished with my spiel, so I'm going to hand it over back to Desire.
All right, thank you. Had to find this microphone. That was really great information, Jesse. We appreciate it. So I hope that was helpful for you all. Now we're going to turn it over into just some deadlines that we have going on this year. So this is going to be for 12th graders, not 11th graders, because it's going to be for the remainder of this school year. So let's look at some deadlines. So these are North Carolina 4-year deadlines. So I just want to note before that, and I'm pretty sure Jesse already mentioned it earlier, but just a reminder that community colleges are rolling admissions, and some 4-years are even rolling admissions as well. So there are some that's not included on here. And rolling admissions just means you can pretty much apply anytime during the school year or right before that school year starts. So yeah, just keep that in mind. But these here are pretty much last chance deadlines for these 4-year universities. So coming up on Monday, March 1st, the same day as that FAFSA priority deadline, we are going to have the deadlines for High Point University and UNC Greensboro. So these are, again, their last chance deadlines, meaning you really want your application in that pool if you are interested in those attending either of those institutions this fall. Now with that being, said, the last chance deadlines, does this mean that, oh, they will not accept it if it's the day late or whatever? I wouldn't say they wouldn't accept it. However, if they already have their class size and you turned yours in late, at that point is based on what space is left available at their institution. So if their institution's already full, they're not taking a late application. You're not going to be considered. However, if they have space left, they may say, okay, we'll give them a shot. So just keep that in mind. I would say the best bet is to stick to the deadline if you know you really want to go to that institution. And then if you put in hard work to apply, you might as well meet it by the deadline. April 1st is going to be the last chance for ECU and Queens University of Charlotte for, I guess, their priority consideration, because I believe ECU also has rolling admissions, but they do also have like priority deadlines. So I would say, make sure you're meeting those priority deadlines if you do want that consideration. June 1st, which is a little bit late, so you have plenty of time for that institution for NCA&T University and then Winston-Salem State. So June 1st, plenty of time. That's right at the end of the school year. I mean, hopefully none of y'all are waiting that long, because you want to celebrate graduation at that point. You don't want to be doing the hassle of college applications when you're getting ready to walk across the stage. But if it just comes down to that, then you have that deadline of June 1st, and then June 30th for Fayetteville State University. So these are just some of the colleges I wanted to highlight, just because like we get at least for my school, we get a lot of applications here. There are some other institutions, again, that may have rolling admissions that I left out, just because rolling admissions, you can apply anytime. And then of course the deadlines that have already expired, I didn't put those on here. All right. So now we can just look at some scholarships, which is the fun part for me, dealing with money. So here are some places where you can find some scholarships. These are scholarship search tools, so nothing too specific here. You can make it the search as specific as you want for some of these search portals. Some of them just give you what they have. But I tried to narrow this list down to things that are local or things that are, in this area that we're all in, just so you won't have to be, I know some people don't feel as confident fighting for the bigger nationwide scholarships because it's hundreds and thousands of people, but maybe if it's a local scholarship, you might feel a little bit more confident. So I gave y'all a range on this list here that range from Greensboro, Guilford County, North Carolina, then nationwide everywhere. So hopefully everybody can find something in one of these search portals. These are some tips on also like just where you can find scholarships. So say those search portals don't work out for you, which hopefully they do, but say they don't, you can also ask your counselor or your college advisor for specific high school alumni scholarships. Your school should have some, or they likely do have some. Hopefully they're getting them out to you all, but if you haven't heard anything about them, it will not hurt for you to go ahead and ask your counselor or college advisor, like, how can you apply to some in-house scholarships, or even some Guilford County, paper applications, whatever they may have. You can also visit the scholarship websites for the colleges you're interested in. So if you already have your decision made up, or at least your list, your college list narrowed down to maybe 2 or 3 schools, you can go ahead and search on their website for some scholarships they have directly for your department, like the major you plan to go in, or you can, just look at overall general scholarships for incoming first years at their institution. Usually they have some good, like their own scholarship portal for their incoming classes or their students who are already on their college campus. And then the last tip is just to ask your community leaders. So if you attend a church, some churches offer scholarship money to students going to college. So please ask about that. If you are in any type of extracurricular activity, such as band or National Honor Society or National Technical Honor Society, you can also ask what sorts of scholarship opportunities they offer for students who are going to college. I do know a bit of my students have asked and applied and received some scholarship from their club. So please reach out and ask for what may be available. And then you can also ask your job or your parents' job, or ask your parents to ask their job what sorts of money or scholarship they may have for their employees' children or their employees to go to college. Like I know there's a Walmart scholarship, there's a McDonald's scholarship, there's a Taco Bell scholarship. So if you work for any of these companies, or maybe not any of those companies, but you work somewhere, please ask them, or ask your parents' job, or have them ask their job again if they offer any type of financial support or scholarships for employees and their children going to college. Now, this is a little bit more in detail. This is some of the scholarships from my scholarship list that I compiled together. So these are some upcoming deadlines. As you see tomorrow, UNCG, they have a and this is a specific to UNCG, but it's a really cool program they have called UNCG Guarantee, which guarantees that students will graduate debt-free from their institution as long as they meet those requirements and get accepted to that program. You can graduate debt-free with your degree from UNCG. So being that we're in Greensboro, a lot of people, want to stay home, want to go to UNCG. I think that was something really good to put out there for y'all to check into. Doodle for Google is also due on the 26th. And this is a scholarship that's open to any child, any grade from elementary school to high school, where they can just draw a picture for Google. You know how you go to Google search and they might have a different sketch all the time. They want to go ahead and pick the best sketch and highlight it and put it on Google. So not only are you getting a scholarship, but they're going to use your sketch and use it as the little Google logo. So that's a really cool one. February 28th, College Board Opportunity Scholarship. So this is a big one I wanted to make sure I mentioned. This one is due. So 12th graders, y'all's last date to apply for this is February 28th. So please get it in. Very simple scholarship. It's not a full application or anything like that. All you have to do is have your College Board account, and I believe complete your FAFSA is one of the steps on there. So if you completed your FAFSA, you already can put your name in a hat for this scholarship from College Board Opportunity. But also if you've applied to any colleges at this point, you can also qualify for some money. So really simple. As long as you did those steps, you can put your name in a hat to get that scholarship that they offer. 11th graders, they have opened it up for y'all. So it's 6 steps. It just opened for y'all, I believe, last month. So please go in there. You already should have a College Board. If you don't, easy to make one. Go in there and search those College Board Opportunity Scholarships and get started right away with those. And I won't go through the full list of the rest of these scholarships. These are just a couple of the names. I know some of these are specific to Guilford County. Some of them are just open out there. But if y'all can just take a picture of the screen or a screenshot just so you can have the name and maybe Google search it so that you can potentially go ahead and apply to these scholarships. Oh, another thing to mention is the Say Yes Guilford Scholarship. I did put that down at the bottom because March Madness is coming up, y'all. I don't know if y'all receive those emails and newsletters like I do, but that is something exciting to me. So March Madness is coming up. We're going to be having, the little school competition, little kind of like how they do with basketball. I'm not really a sports fan, but it's with the brackets. So it's gonna be cool, y'all. Let's everybody get that March Madness done. Make sure you get that Say Yes Guilford Scholarship done. It's not due till June 1st, but you can at least go ahead and open up that application in March, so your school can be at the top. And then, if you don't know your school yet by March, it's fine. You can log back in and put your school back in there by June 1st. So make sure y'all get that done. Huh?
May I chime in really quick?
Yes, please do.
Yes, and as far as the Say Yes Guilford application, I see a lot of you all have just the questions, and I only take about 1 minute to answer this, but specifically, so we just asked that you do your application in your senior year. So I know some of you all attend early colleges and middle colleges. If you will be attending college next fall, you will complete your application. And I know that there have been some issues with that, but they're getting it worked out. And you don't find out until the fall. With that being said, it's because you don't know exactly where you're going right now. Some of you all may, and some of you all may not, which is why we're here today, because it's not too late to decide. So you have until June 1st to update which school you're going to enroll in. And then at that point, we communicate with the institution after school begins to ensure that you are in fact enrolled and to verify your financial aid information. So as Desire mentioned, and as far as the March Madness competition, it's not only for you to rep your schools and to show some pride for your high school, but there is also incentive for students, the winning school for students who complete their Say Yes application. So make sure that you're in that number and you're also showing some pride to your school. And that's it. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much for that, Brandy, because she definitely can explain it better than I do. That is what she does with Say Yes all day. So definitely make sure y'all are doing that. It's not a really long application at all, honestly. So I would say just do it anyway, even if you're not sure, because best case scenario, you're going to get some extra funding when it comes to going to college in the fall. Worst case scenario, hey, you might still end up looking out something or even repping your school a little bit. Well, that's not a worst case scenario. That's still, I would say both of them are best case scenarios because then your school still ends up winning. So do it. All right, and here are just some more scholarships that go on. I think this is the last list because this one goes to July 31st. So if y'all want to take a picture or a screenshot of your screen, please do so, because again, a lot of these are specific to Guilford County, but I wanted to kind of just highlight them off of the list I made, because these are pretty good scholarships in terms of the money they give and stuff like that. And these are pretty like general. They don't have a lot of qualifications or requirements. So regardless of your GPA or whatever, I know I put some on this list that you will qualify for. So take a screenshot. All right. So that is pretty much all from me for the deadlines that I have for you all. And I am going to turn it on over to Kyle to talk about what's going on with Guilford.
Thank you. Let me see if I can share my screen real quick. Perfect. Yeah, so my name's Kyle. I'm the director of admission at Guilford. And again, the theme of the night is it's not too late to apply. And I'm just going to kind of come at it from the college perspective. And I know this has been mentioned quite a bit already, but Guilford, we're enrolling admissions right now. And a lot of other small private colleges like us are in that same mode. And obviously a lot of schools will have priority deadlines as well. But really with rolling admissions, it's once we receive your application materials, we're going to read it as quickly as we can, and we're going to send out that decision as quickly as we can. With a lot of the deadlines that happened earlier in the year, there's an early action December 1st deadline at a lot of colleges. That means they release the bulk of those decisions December 1st, even if you applied in October, for example. Whereas now we're rolling them out the door every single day. Colleges, for the most part, know this is going to be a later cycle. I think we're very understanding of the fact that y'all haven't really been in the classroom and had those conversations with guidance counselors and college advisors like you might have in past years. And that's totally understandable. Student athletes, for example, we're a Division III college, and a lot of student athletes want to play at the highest level they can possibly play at. So as far as getting student athlete commitments for us right now, those are a little bit slower because they're just starting their seasons in a lot of cases. And then really, as far as accessibility through the application process, we've tried to kind of prevent the hoops that you need to jump through this year, right? So you've seen a lot of colleges are moving to a test optional format. Also, a lot of colleges are now more frequently accepting unofficial documents to complete your application, right? So if there is a holdup and maybe you're not able to submit an official transcript, if you have a copy of your transcript or your counselor can get you a copy of your transcript, you can take a screenshot of that and email it to us, for example, and we'll complete your application file as long as we get that official transcript eventually. But I think that's the big thing is accessibility has been something that's really been stressed and kind of the circles that I'm in with other admissions directors. And that's something we're really focused on this year and hopefully moving forward. As far as applications, so once I get the application, and really this is common across colleges, these are a few things that we'll look for. Number one, a challenging curriculum, right? And that's within reason. So if you're taking 6 AP classes your senior year, that's great, that looks great. But if you're making D's and F's in those AP classes, we want you to know yourself better than that, right? And every student has a different story. So it's one thing to take 6 AP classes, but it's another thing for a student who's taking 6 AP classes and may have to work 30 hours a week to support their family. So just the level of time commitment is different there. So challenge yourself, but within reason. Also, upward trends are incredibly important, right? And this is something else where it's challenging in these times because a lot of us, learn better in the classroom and maybe not in that remote space. But we want to see that you're building positive trends throughout high school, right? So if you get off to a slow start in high school, it's not the end of the world, but we really want to see you building that positive momentum as you move forward throughout your senior year into college. So we know that you're ready for that college level work that's at the next stop. Quality involvement, right? And I note here, quality, not quantity, right? So it's one thing for a student to join 12 clubs their senior year just so they can put that on their college application. But when I'm reading an application, I really want to see a student demonstrate a passion for something because that's what they're going to bring to a college community. That's how they're going to get involved in that college community and make an impact in that community. So quality of involvement, leadership in those clubs and organizations, that means a bit more to us. The college essay was touched on a lot. A lot of colleges are very, very writing intensive. And obviously there's resources set up for you to ensure your success when you're at that college. But writing a strong essay is very important in the application process. there's truly humans that are reading your application as well. And we want to see that you've taken your time and really put forth an effort into that essay. And that really, as Jesse mentioned, that means getting another set of eyes on it, taking your time, having someone edit that for you, going through some revisions. It's not something that really should be done in 10 minutes. Positive recommendations. So at Guilford, we don't require a letter of recommendation, but really, if anything is listed as optional in the college application process, I recommend doing it, right? Take the extra time to do that and get recommendations from people that know you, right? Get someone that can really vouch for you, because we can always tell when we're looking at letters of recommendation when it's just kind of the letter of recommendation template and your name's just substituted in there, right? Get it from someone that knows you, and then demonstrate an interest. So visit the campus, email the admission counselor that's going to be reading your application, right? Because I remember those things when I'm reading the application, and I'm going to do everything I can to help those students that I know want to be at Guilford College. Grants and scholarships, we've talked a lot about Say Yes. I think the one thing that I would add there for private colleges across the state, we do things a little bit differently. So some of us have deadlines and some of us have limits of students that can be admitted to the program. So my best advice there is just get that Say Yes scholarship form done as soon as possible, get admitted to the colleges that you're considering as soon as possible, and absolutely file that FAFSA, because those are the three things that you need to have on file to get that additional scholarship award. But for us, if you've attended a Guilford County Public High School for 4 years and you've been admitted to Guilford College, you filed your FAFSA and you've done your Say Yes form, you'll get some form of Say Yes funding, whether it's a choice grant for the families that have the household income above $75,000, or it's the Guilford College Say Yes grant for families that have a household income below 75K. So either way, you're going to get something. You just have to stay on top of things and get everything in. Merit scholarships are also very prevalent. And this is kind of one of my tips for later. Don't let a sticker price of a college deter you from going through the application process, right? Colleges are very expensive. A lot of colleges will have very, very high sticker prices, but for us, for example, 100% of our students that get accepted to Guilford receive some sort of merit scholarship that automatically takes money off that sticker price. So if you're intrigued by a college, don't be deterred to apply by that sticker price. Go through the process. A lot of us, including us, have dropped our application fee, so it's free. It's totally free to apply, totally free to go through that process. Institutional need-based grants are also very common. These are grants that are provided by the institution based on your FAFSA. So it's additional grant money. So grant money is obviously money you don't have to pay back that is determined by receiving your FAFSA. So another huge incentive to file the FAFSA. And then outside scholarships. We've heard a lot about that already. And as Desire mentioned, the most common scholarships that our students get are those local scholarships, right? We don't have a lot of students that are getting the Coca-Cola scholarship, for example, because 2 million students apply to that, right? So get out in the field, get out in Guilford County, your parents' jobs, those are also very common, and apply to everything, right? $500, it may not seem worth taking a day and writing a 1,000-word essay, but every little bit helps them, and that pays for your books for a semester. So keep that in mind. And then I touched on the FAFSA a little bit. So you use the prior year tax returns in addition to the federal and potentially state funding that you can qualify for from filing the FAFSA. It also helps us as determine those institutional need-based grants that you can qualify for. You will file the FAFSA every single year you're enrolled in college as well. So keep that in mind. And this is very common. This was common last spring, and it'll be common again this year. Many families have had, severe impacts caused by COVID, right? So whether that's a loss of job or there's been a health scare in the family, God forbid, colleges will have in-house processes to help get more of an accurate picture of where the finances are of the household right now, right? As I mentioned, you're using the taxes from a couple years ago. So COVID wasn't even a thing a couple years ago, but now it certainly is. And again, there's been a lot of job losses and a lot of job status changes over the last several months. So at Guilford, we call this process a professional judgment, where we take a snapshot of where you're at right now, so we can adjust your financial aid accordingly, and a lot of times get you more federal funding as well. So it's one of those things, if you're communicating with us and if you're upfront with us, we're going to do everything we can to help you navigate that process and make Guilford a real possibility for you. And then finally, just a few things to keep in mind as you're moving forward throughout the process. Never rule a school out because of the sticker price. Always file the FAFSA, even if you don't think you'll qualify for a dime, right? A lot of schools, again, like us, even if you don't qualify for federal funding or maybe a North Carolina need-based scholarship, you'll still get another institutional grant from Guilford just from filing the FAFSA, right? If we're close and our financial aid package is close to another private college, and you ask me, say, hey, Kyle, I need a couple $1,000 more and I know I can make Guilford work, I can't even have the conversation with my financial aid director unless we have your FAFSA, right? So it allows me to vouch for you because I'm the admissions person, right? So I like to give away money, and our financial aid director keeps me in check, and it's a good balance of power, I guess. But I'm not able to have that conversation if we don't have your FAFSA. And then I think there's just a notion that, colleges are looking to keep people out. There's nearly 1,000 colleges in the United States that allow that have acceptance rates above 75%, right? Colleges are looking to let you in, not keep you away. So again, that's why when we're going through the application process, we're trying to eliminate a lot of these barriers because we want you to come to our institution, right? You are valued. And then again, demonstrate an interest via email, phone. A lot of colleges are now starting to offer visits. I really encourage you, if you can, to try to get on campus to visit, if at all possible. A lot of colleges, we have private individual tours that maintain social distancing. Obviously, it's not as vibrant as it is, in a typical year, but at least you can get your feet on the ground and kind of see how things operate. I think that makes a really, really big difference. And then my contact information is on the screen as well. If you have any questions for me about anything that I've said today or thinking about applying to Guilford, feel free to reach out. But thank you all for being here with me tonight. And that is all for me.
Thank you so much, Kyle. So I will just share my screen again so y'all can see our upcoming events, and then we'll open it up for the questions. All right, so these are some upcoming events that are going to be going on. As I believe Brandy already dropped in the chat, Say Yes Guilford is also offering SAT prep next week online from 5 to 6. So please sign up if you are a 10th grader, 11th grader, or 12th grader, and you are planning to take the SAT anytime soon or next year, whenever. Please sign up to get some prep going on so that you are prepared to take that exam. Right, and if y'all want to take a screenshot of that, you can, or just look at the chat and see what Brandy posted there. And then this is how you can get in contact with myself and Ms. Lutz, the college advisors. If you have any questions for us, please feel free to reach out and ask. You can also follow our social media handles. I did post my Instagram up there where I do post a bunch of events going on or just information that's good to know for my 11th graders, 12th graders, and even sometimes 9th and 10th graders. If there's like a program that I hear about and I get a flyer for underclassmen, I post that flyer up there that's open to, more than just my students. So you're more than welcome to follow my social media. And then I also have a YouTube channel where I post information such as the FAFSA steps on how to do that, steps on how to complete the RDS. So if you haven't done it yet and you want that assistance to get through that, you can also just look at that YouTube channel. Right. And then this is just the information from today's session. So thank y'all again so much for coming out. We appreciate it. If you have any questions for us, please just drop them in the chat.
I just also want to say, Desire, we want to make sure that you guys stay tuned in to us. We will be having some other webinars coming up for next month. So just stay tuned and we'll be sharing that information soon.
Yes, thank you. And I'll, again, just to push it back to my social media, I will be, I share all of the events that go on. So if you're not sure where to look for them, I know Say Yes Guilford posts them on their Facebook. I post them on my Instagram. So if you follow any of our social media handles, you will definitely see those upcoming events. And someone did ask me to pull up the slide that shows the scholarships. I absolutely do not mind. I can go back to that for you. And they want to know the regional ones. So here are the links if you wanted the links for them. To just like the local links to search those tools, but I'll also go back to the individual names so you can get a screenshot of those names. You're welcome. And if anybody has any other questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat. Yep. And I'll leave this one up here for a bit because it does have a lot on here. So if anybody is on the call, I guess y'all don't have any questions. Does anyone have an idea of where they're going already or where they're hoping to go that they want to share in the chat, where they've been accepted to, where they're applying? If you haven't applied to any colleges yet, where are you hoping to apply to? So I guess no one is going anywhere. Well, I hope y'all decide. If you haven't decided, I'll say that's the reason why. If you haven't decided yet, okay, we have one person. So Mars Hill. So good. And definitely feel free to go to their website for additional resources if anything we said tonight wasn't specific or you didn't feel like it was anything to fit into your school, because I know we covered community college, we covered Guilford College, and things like that. But definitely feel free to reach out to your own admissions rep at this point in time. It's definitely not too late to talk to them. If you still need any help with walking through those applications or anything like that, they're definitely more than happy to help you with answering any of your questions that you have for specifically for their institution.
Yeah, we love seeing juniors and their families on here. This is great.
Yes, 11th graders. So go ahead and say it's not too soon to get a college list either. So if they haven't made a decision, definitely, this is perfect time to get that college list going, talk to some admissions reps, see what's going on. Definitely feel free to reach out. You're welcome. And thank y'all for attending again. I know it's always a little bit tough in the evening after a long day. Thank y'all. Thank y'all for joining.